Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. Today I'm at the Old Middelton Distillery at the south coast of Ireland. Behind me you see the big water wheel that supplies the energy for the Jameson whiskey production for over many centuries now. Originally, the Jameson family came from Scotland. In the year 1780, they immigrated to the city of Dublin and produced whiskey there for 4 generations. In the 4th generation, they went down south and built the distillery that you see today. Today, this distillery is just a museum. The new Midelton Distillery is just a mile away and produces all the whiskies of the Irish industry except the Bushmills that is produced in North Ireland. The museum is very nice. You can see all the buildings and production steps like in a real distillery. It also has a cafe and tasting rooms where you can taste all the Midelton whiskies with the experts. First we take the tour and then we also do the tastings. This is the biggest pot still in the world. It has a capacity of 143,000 liters and was built in 1825. To run it for 24 hours, it took 4 tons of coal. The previous pot still collapsed because someone forgot to open a depressuring valve. Behind me you see this big bell that was used to communicate between the workers. That's because the fire and the steam in the pot still was so loud. Now we're at the Cooperage. This is where the casks are being remade or refurbished. Right next to me is the port pipe. This cask was used to store port wine from Portugal. After the port wine has been bottled, the casks were shipped off to Ireland and the whiskey was matured. Port pipe, with its European oak, adds a little spiciness to the whiskey, and the sherry that was stored before adds a little fruitiness to the whiskey. Right next to it is the classical sherry casks. This one is from the region Jerez in Spain. It is a bit shorter and a bit wider, and it can carry up to 600 liters. It is the classical method to make the whiskey a bit sweeter and more fruity through a finish or the maturation in this cask. Right next to it is a Madeira Drum. It is used to mature the fortified wines from the Madeira region. These casks are also shipped to Ireland and used to mature the famous Jameson whiskey. Even though it is a bit shorter, the diameter is bigger and therefore the capacity of the cask is also 600 liters. And this now is the hogshead. A hogshead is never built for the specific use, but a hogshead always consists of all used casks that have been put together to new ones. The small dimensions of the cask give it a capacity of 250 liters. The maturation in this cask is not as strong as in other casks because its hogsheads are always refilled casks. And here comes the backbone of the maturing production step. It is the American bourbon barrel. Usually this cask was filled with 55 gallons of American bourbon for 4 years. And now, after the cask has been emptied, the cask will be filled with 210 of the Jameson Irish whiskey. And the last cask is called a transport cask. It was the old way to transport the whiskey on the back of mules or horses.
It's a type of light hot Middelton.
Go.
So if you can use some water, Heidi, when they're finished the whiskey to rinse out the glass.
Benutzen Sie Wasser, um die Gläser so zu putzen, weil der Unterschied ist sehr groß zwischen den zwei Fässern. Darf man da? Gut.
Take this one? Yeah.
Es gibt ein anderes Wort. Hier diese Whisky Trail Leute. Die sind alle hier machen auch ja, und so scheinen sie noch mit
Okay, do we all wash our glasses out? We have some new glasses if you wish.
Das Wasser.
Sehr gut. Yeah. Keep going. And you'll feel it bite. Keep going. Now you have to snap. No, fast. That's it. Okay. Great. Okay. Now sample. So do you know how to work it's a Valange?
Do I have to move it up and down?
Just move it up and down slightly, yeah, just to displace the air, and then you put your finger on top,
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
pipette, okay? And
Aber ich möchte was aus dem Glas lassen.
you would like straight to the glass? Okay. Oh! That's okay. I'd say we might have
A little more?
No, you'd like to pour to the glass, yeah? Heidi, would you mind? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You just pour.
Es reicht. Danke.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
Und probieren?
Ich habe schon eins, so.
Da hast du da drüben auch noch Glas.
Probier.
Also es ist sicher ein Postil. Okay. Also
You want enough glasses?
Ja, jetzt mal Hausbild.
Fass abfüllen. Also ja, dann Fass abfüllen. Ganz viel oder ganz viel?
Oh.
It's about 50. It's a 12-year-old
Yes.
sherry butt. It's about 54, 55% maybe. Have you enough, Heidi?
Also das
More? Have you enough?
is this a 12-year-old?
12-year-old